Hello, my good friends. Welcome to the show. Jack Chow on East West with G&E TV. We're trying to stretch our attention to cover something else today because we let politics take a little break and we let controversy take a little break. Let's talk about our environment. Speaking of environment, it is something that we have really to stick to. It is something that takes, is related to everybody's life. It's about our waste. Talking about waste, we're really talking about you're trying to contaminate your own environment that you live in. These days we have plastic waste, we have metal waste, we have computer waste, they have all kinds of waste. So who does the job to take care of the waste? Are the waste really waste? Can they be just simply dumped? Or can we recover it? Can we recycle them? So today, joining me in the big subject is Mr. Edward Cai, president of WIM Plus Inc. and with high reputation, sir. And welcome to my show.
Thank you very much for inviting me to EDI to share the topic with you.
I know this is a very, very big topic, right? So to take a overall look, we're talking about basically some categories like plastic, one category, metal, second category, and the paper, the third one, right? So is there anything that, in addition to the three, anything else that's considered as metal, as a scrap?
Yeah, actually, we're talking about the recycling business. Generally speaking, there are three categories of this line.
Oh, I see.
First is the fiber.
Fiber,
we're talking about the waste or scrap papers, the cardboard, the waste newspapers,
I see.
or the cut-off of the paper manufacturers. So it comes from different sources.
Sure.
And the second is the scrap metal.
Scrap metal,
Could it be from the auto industries, the scrap autos, the cars,
I see.
motors, or the shutdown manufacturers.
I see.
You have to take up all the equipment and machines.
I see.
And the scrap productions from the casting manufacturers for irons, aluminums, and the coppers from the different industries.
Every time you drive by on Hamburg or Mission, though, you pass by a warehouse, probably Southern California Edison, they have the tips of cables, right?
Yes. Some cables, I do believe, is the cutoff. When they use the cable, they cut off.
I see.
Some could be rejected.
I see.
Means when they try to use it, they found some discrepancies of the materials itself, so they reject it.
I see.
And some is replaced. Okay, they put the new cable, but they take the old cable out. So that's the collector.
But the metal remains there, right?
Yes, they're gonna recycle the metal. Some cables, the cable skin is the plastics, so polyethylene or polyvinyls.
Or even rubber, right?
Yeah, not rubbers.
No rubber?
Mostly, yeah, some is rubbers, but some is the polyethylene.
Oh, polyethylene.
Or polyvinyls.
Oh, polyvinyl.
PVC, we call PVC.
Yeah,
yeah, the second category, and the third, we're talking about the plastics. Yeah, the plastics. The plastic scraps, actually, it comes from the different sources. We're talking about the post-consumers, post-industrials, and the post-commercial. The post-industrials comes from the chemical manufacturers. They're making the plastic pellets, like 3M, Honeywell, DuPont, yeah, this kind of the chemical manufacturers. They upgrade the materials, or they rejected the productions.
I see.
It's one kind of the source. And the second source is the post-commercial. It comes from the supermarket stores.
Post-commercial.
Commercials. From the warehouse collections, from the supermarket stores, from the department stores. Their return plastics or
I see.
rejected production cargoes, like polyethylene stretching films, the hangers,
the wrappers, right?
the hangers, and then they're like the Walmart.
Hangers,
they have
yes,
the rejected DVD or CD come with the cases. The whole rejected. So a lot of kind of the sourcing, and the third is from the waste management.
Waste management.
Yes. They have the collections about the bottles, milk jugs, the cocoa bottles. They also collected the stretching film too. Yeah, this three kind of sources.
All these different categories. Only, I mean, speaking of the chemical, the plastic only, you have the post-production, which is the cutoffs or whatever for the big materials, right? And then you have a post-commercial, which is the waste material, plastic waste material, such as wrapper or straps,
hangers,
or hangers, they dispose, right? And then the post-consumer,
yes.
which means the household waste, household plastic waste, such as our water bottles, right?
Cocoa bottles,
Coke bottles,
milk jugs,
milk jars, stuff like that. So when I see the trucks, those trucks going on the freeway, though, they have all the bottles are pressed into bundles. So the bundles, do you ship the bundles from place to place, or you make them into pallets or tablets?
Okay. Now we're talking about the processing of the materials, the reprocessing. I think before this one, let me give you a general view of the background of this kind of business between U.S. and China.
I see.
Actually, the recycling business last year it was the third largest business between U.S. and China.
Wow, the third largest business between U.S. and China.
Yes, and last year the U.S. side exported 200 billion U.S. dollars. 200
billion U.S. dollars
to China. And the first item is the agriculture and the byproducts, like soybeans, cotton, feed, this kind of the stuffs.
All right.
And fruits. And the this one is 50 billion. And the second one is the gas, petroleum, and the equipment, the accessories, and the byproducts. It was 42 billion.
42 billion. Yeah.
And the scrap materials, last year, the total amount export to China is 38 billion.
38 billion with a B.
Yeah, but when we go back to like 2 years, 3 years ago, it was the second largest categories. The U.S. side export to China.
I see.
So, yeah, it's almost 25%.
Why does China buy this much from the United States, the scrap business? They don't produce themselves, or they need more? Okay,
nowadays we're talking about the environmental protections. We're talking about the reusing of the scrap materials to save the cost of production.
I see.
To help the manufacturing enhance the competitiveness. We're talking about that one in China, not only in China, even in the US nowadays. They use a lot of scrap materials too.
I see.
So you may not know, we can see a lot of the recycling manufacturers here. They regrind, wash the cocoa bottles, and send it back to reuse.
All right, okay.
The way they try to do is that because you don't have a way to dump in this, to burn this, you're gonna hurt the environmental.
Of course, yeah.
So you gotta try some way to reuse it. And the second reason, because the cost is much lower than the primary materials. We're talking about Mohawk, the carpet manufacturer, the largest carpet manufacturers. Mohawk and the Shaw. This is the big carpet manufacturers in the world. They use the polypropylene and the polyethylenes to make the carpet.
Polypropylene, that's the, all right, that's the films, right?
Fibers. The plastic could be different forms. Could it be film, could it be sheet, could it be injected products, could it be the fibers.
So PP for short, PP.
The PP, they use PP to make the fibers. And the web, the PET, the polyesters, the fibers.
I see.
So they use like Shaw or Mohawk. I know they use almost 8 to 100 containers.
Wow.
To regrind, wash, and put to reuse.
I see.
It easily they can save about 20 to 30% of the cost.
Exactly.
So that's a good thing to to the manufacturer.
And the mathematics is quite simple. United States, we have 300 million people. Everybody at least takes 1 bottle of water each day. That's 300 million bottles.
Yeah.
If you put 300 million bottles on the street, though, there's going to be a huge whole city, probably, you're talking about. So somebody has to do the job to turn it into good materials, bring it back to the manufacturer, to the market, to the use, to the consumer, and the recycle, going on and on.